Years, still serve as a major in the Army National Guard today, and have deployed twice to the Middle East, serving in combat, and like every other combat veteran, have seen firsthand the terribly high human cost of war. My job in Iraq in 2005, I worked in a field medical unit where the very first thing I did every single day was a heart-wrenching task of going through name by name every list of American casualty and injury that had occurred in the previous 24 hours. So those of us who have seen this terribly high human cost of war, we fight for peace. We're not pacifists. We know that unfortunately sometimes war is necessary to protect our country, but we see that war should always be a last resort. So what is so concerning about what Hillary Clinton is doing here is she is not only calling me a traitor, she is not only trying to smear my character, she's sending a warning out to every veteran, every single American, anyone who stands up against the warmongering foreign policies that really are her legacy, that have been so destructive and costly to my brothers and sisters in uniform, cost the American people trillions of dollars, and caused such damage in the world. This is what's so dangerous.
It really, listen, I'm tired of politicizing war. We send these kids, go fight, bleed, die, and then it gets politicized. Never mind. I want the next generation of weaponry, defensive, offensive, where we don't have to send our national treasure, our sons and daughters, to fight anymore, especially because there's no political will to win it. Rules of engagement under Obama were insane, in my view. Let me ask you this. We did have something called the Russian dossier, okay? It was used, the bulk of information, according to the Grassley-Graham memo, as the bulk of information to obtain FISA warrants on Carter Page. Carter Page, I've interviewed him many times. He's cooperated with our intelligence services every time he went abroad. That dossier was full of lies. Even it's an unverifiable dossier because its own author says, I have no idea if any of it's true. That would be Christopher Steele. So if there's any Russian interference, we had 4 investigations into Trump, the FBI, House Intelligence Committee, Bipartisan Senate Committee, Mueller report. No evidence of Trump-Russia collusion. What are your thoughts on Hillary Clinton and the DNC paying for that Russian dossier full of lies?
Well, let me just say this. Interference in our elections should be a concern of every American because of the importance of ensuring that our democracy remains stable and that voters have faith in the votes that we cast in our democracy. And I have said this over and over and over again. For those Democrats and Republicans who may be concerned about interference, let's actually protect our democracy by ensuring that we have paper ballots or voter-verified paper backups to make sure that if anyone comes in and tries to actually manipulate the votes that we cast in these elections, that can be audited, that we have a paper record of the votes that are cast. That idea. Because otherwise, and I've introduced legislation to do this, Securing America's Elections Act. And for those who are saying interference, do something about it. Pass my legislation. Make sure that our votes, the votes of every single American, are protected, and they will actually be counted. Our democracy will be protected.
Let me ask you this. You're watching Adam Schiff for 3 years. He's told the American people they have evidence of Trump-Russia collusion. Even the Mueller report said that's not true. Now he's behind closed doors and a secret impeachment hearing. Now, I'm going to read to you, and I'll put it up on the screen, what Newt Gingrich afforded Bill Clinton back in 1998, and that is the full House vote authorizing the inquiry. He also involved the full House in every critical step of the inquiry, defining scope, establishing rules and procedures. We know that they granted co-equal subpoena power to the chair and ranking member at the committee level. We know they also allowed subpoenas to be the subject of a full vote at the committee level at the request or of the chair or the ranking member. They provided the president's counsel the right to attend all hearings and depositions. The president's counsel had the right to present evidence. The president's counsel had the right to object to evidence admitted into the case. The president's counsel had the right to cross-examine and recommend a witness list. Now, you're going to tell me you support this secret hearing of where Republicans can't have access to not even a transcript, or do you think it should be done the way Newt Gingrich did it for Bill Clinton?
I think it needs to be a transparent process. You know, I have long expressed my concern about going through impeachment proceedings in a very, very partisan way because it'll only further tear apart an already divided country. My interest and concern is for the well-being of our country and our democracy as we move forward. I think there are areas of concern that were raised around the conversations that happened between Trump and the Ukrainian president, which is why I supported the inquiry. I think that inquiry needs to be done in a very narrowly focused way, and it must be done transparently. I don't know what's going on in those closed doors. We as members of Congress don't have access to the information that is being shared. And I think that the American people deserve to know exactly what the facts are, what the evidence is that's being presented as this inquiry goes on.
Last question. Why do you think Ukraine and China would ever give Hunter Biden, who had no experience with either country,